I'm not going to count Anthony Joshua out, especially if you've seen the photos as of late with him, slimming down, not looking as, like muscular, going for more movement, to look more fluid, loose. He's talked about in several vlogs and interviews on how he really didn't have like the passion for Andy Ruiz. And maybe that his passion for the sport, especially now that he's a super multimillionaire, has been dwindling. But now he's saying he got something back, that maybe Andy Ruiz has woken him up. They're fighting in Saudi Arabia. Diriyah, Saudi Arabia, December the 7th, 2019. Clash of the World, Clash on the Dunes. The Brits love the word clash. COTD. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Why Saudi Arabia? After all these years of all these fights, we've been hearing that Saudi Arabia and the Arabs been wanting to bring over there for super Arab money. Finally, it seems as though they finally came up with the money. Now, for the hardcore boxing fans, you know what I mean. You're probably asking, man, did Amir Khan get his money? Apparently, he did. Al Heyman's going to be over in Saudi Arabia. This is a huge, huge, huge fight. Also, what it does is it limits how much media is going to be there as well. Very exclusive event. A bunch of Saudi princes and, Lamborghinis, golden AK-47s, golden plated Tigers and shit. The keys to victory for a guy like Anthony Joshua is simple. Don't give up your height. Work off of the jab. And if you want to make it ugly, then learn how to clinch. If you want to get your belt back, you got to make it ugly. Andy Ruiz was loading up. Not just 1-2 punch combinations, especially when he got up. Andy Ruiz didn't go out there in the first fight to try to box at Anthony Joshua. He went out there to try to put a boot in his ass, which he did. People have been saying, well, Anthony Joshua didn't quit or he didn't get knocked out. Look at it like this. If he would have kept getting up, he would have been put back down again. That's the way it looks, right? So let's talk about who is going to be on the undercard. It's looking like, to me, they're probably going to try to put Katie Taylor versus Delphine Persoon on there. It'll be neutral ground for both of them as well, even though, well, Katie Taylor is not from the States, but, it's more neutral ground for her in the States than it would be in New York for Delphine Persoon, right? I don't expect this undercard to be too stacked up. I expect it to be this, maybe Katie Taylor, Delphine Persoon, and for, some prospects like, and some up and coming contenders like Joshua Buatsi, people like that. Because all the money is going to this. And I'm sure Al Heyman made sure that he's... Obviously, Al Heyman, even though the Matchroom side controls the negotiations and, or more so the A side and all this because, of the rematch clause, I'm sure Al Heyman has a hand in this to make sure that Andy Ruiz and also TGB Promotions, as you can see, that's that little green logo right down there below, make sure everybody's getting their just due. A month before this, you're supposed to have Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz on pay-per-view. By the way, this is going to be on DAZN. And as you can see, Sky Sports box office. The time difference is, for example, here, right now, what time is it? It is 1:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Philadelphia. Right now, over in London, it's 6:11. Saudi Arabia is 2 hours ahead. You dig me? So basically, your main event is going to, be about 2 hours later than it would normally be. But yet earlier than it would be if it was here in the States or whatever. It's a little confusing, but go Google it. You'll see what I'm saying. So in a perfect world, we would see the winner of this fight the winner of Wilder versus Ortiz in April or no later than May of 2020, undisputed, because that's what it has to be. Or the winner of this fight right here, Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua 2, has to fight Alexander Usyk, who's the WBO mandatory. Then after that, the IBF mandatory, who's Kubrat Pulev. So the stars are all aligning right now for there to be an undisputed. And rest assured, if Andy Ruiz wins, I'm pretty sure they're going to do Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, likely in Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in T-Mobile Arena on pay-per-view with Showtime and Fox bidding for it. But we can't count Anthony Joshua. This is the biggest fight of his career. This is the biggest fight of Matchroom Boxing's in the history of Matchroom Boxing. Really, especially when you look at what Eddie Hearn has done to build up Matchroom since taking over for his father. I mean, the guy's got, all these fighters, an American broadcast deal with the DAZN. And, look, he's making moves. But if Anthony Joshua was to lose, Matchroom is going to be cool. They got a whole bunch of fighters and, up-and-coming prospects. But Al Heyman going to take over. Right now, the stakes are high. And Anthony Joshua does have the physical skills to beat an Andy Ruiz. But can he have that disciplined ring IQ? Remember, this should, with the way Anthony Joshua talks in his interviews, and, very intelligent guy from the way he comes across, he's able to assess his mistakes, just like he did with Vladimir Klitschko. Just like he got caught, a few times by giving up his height against Alexander Povetkin. If he's as good as he's supposed to be, then he's going to adjust from his mistakes. But right now, Andy Ruiz's confidence is high. He's buying mansions on Joe Rogan, Jimmy Kimmel. He's become an American-Mexican boxing hero. So with that, the Tiger. So there's really no, not too much, news outside of that. I'm going to be at a Top Rank event in a couple of hours. Right now it is August the 9th, 2019. Going to what was supposed to be the Carl Frampton versus Manuel. What's his guy's name again? Rodriguez or Dominguez? Well, Carl Frampton hurt his hand, but still, nonetheless, Bob Arum is going to be there. Hopefully, some people I can talk to get their thoughts on this. Saudi Arabia. That's going to be crazy. I can't wait to see the presentation and, don't expect for the crowd, to be all enthusiastic. Barely any women there and they're going to be all covered up. Hey, listen, let me shut up if I get myself in trouble. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with FightView360.com. Please subscribe.